We are community.
We believe in we We believe in we, not I.
We see opportunity in each other
Believe me, I do not like shutting off such great conversation. I love the volume in the room, and so without much longer, hi, Natividad. And not much longer you can return to that, but we have a really special treat for you this evening. For those of you who were here last year, you know Howard Brodsky, the co-founder and co-CEO of CCA Global Partners, which is a $10 billion cooperative enterprise here in Manchester, New Hampshire, spoke, and he was so well received, so embraced by this group. We couldn't help but to ask him to come back for a second year, and he was kind enough with his time to do just that. So after a video that will play, Howard will come up and provide our keynote address tonight. The video is from Howard's induction into the Cooperative Hall of Fame. So it'll give you his life story, and then I'm really pleased to introduce Howard Brodsky. Let's run the video.
Growing up in Manchester, New Hampshire, Howard Brodsky excelled in both school and sports. He especially loved basketball and football, and was even a Division I All-State football player in high school. When Howard was only 13 years old, his father passed away. He credits his mother with inspiring him with her strength, humor, and love, and instilling in him a positive attitude. He is similarly inspired by his two sons, Jeff and Greg, whom he loves and respects greatly. Alan Greenberg was raised in University City, Missouri, where he enjoyed playing baseball and many other sports, and loved to build things like Pinewood derby cars and train sets. Even as a child, he had a quick wit and loved to play practical jokes on people. In third grade, Alan often chased a beautiful girl named Sharon Pollock home from school to try and kiss her. He continued to pursue his dream girl even after she sicked her dog on him. His persistence paid off when the two were married in 1966. A year later, their son Todd was born, followed by Darcy in 1970. Both Howard and Alan had similar early career experiences, joining their families' floor covering businesses after graduating from college and graduate school. Each helped grow their respective businesses substantially. Also, both men served as founders and president and chairman of the American Floor Covering Association. It was here that the two met.
Al and I both grew up in family businesses. My mother was a pharmacist, and I saw all her friends. They all lost their businesses, one by one. And not because they weren't smart, not because they didn't care, because they didn't have the scale and the availability to do what the big guys did. There's great pride, connectivity to the community, the family, and we didn't want to see that lost.
We developed a very, very close personal relationship, and then we started to sort of speculate with what ifs. What if we did more things together? And lo and behold, we struck up with the idea of forming a cooperative of getting retailers to come together.
Thus, in 1984, they created the Carpet Co-op of America to help independent carpet retailers operate in an increasingly competitive marketplace. What made this enterprise so revolutionary is that it wasn't just a buying organization, but rather a holistic approach into the members' entire business, including operating systems, training programs, marketing, merchandising, and buying. This had never been done before. Needless to say, it was incredibly successful. Within 1 year, Carpet One Floor and Home was established with 13 members. Under Howard and Alan's leadership, it quickly became the top floor covering retail group in the nation.
By leveraging our power, knowledge, resources, and experience of a relatively small initial group, all of us were not only able to survive, but we began to thrive.
But it wasn't always easy. Early on, major carpet manufacturers refused to sell to the co-op, and both Howard and Alan had to risk their stores and invest personal resources to bankroll the venture. They persevered, however, and ultimately convinced the carpet mills that selling to Carpet One would mean larger sales and future expansion for the mills. Over the next 10 years, the co-op experienced exponential growth, reaching beyond North America to include businesses in New Zealand and Australia. By this time, Howard and Alan were well aware that they had created a flexible, winning business model that could work for other retail and service industries. With this in mind, they reached beyond the flooring industry to include companies in lighting, mortgage banking, bicycling, and the newest endeavor, reaching out and supporting the nonprofit sector. In 2001, Carpet Co-op of America changed its name to CCA Global Partners to reflect its broadened scope. Today, CCA Global is a multi-billion-dollar business with 15 companies in 4 countries that demonstrates how independent businesses can achieve scale through their cooperatives and compete with the large chains. All of this without sacrificing the valued service of a locally owned business.
The independent and the individual entrepreneur still maintains his strength, his individuality, his connection to the community. And what we really try to do is bring the tools that are needed to enhance their greatness.
In addition, both men recognized the importance of being responsible corporate citizens. One example is their literacy efforts, which included CCA's donations of books, library makeovers, and school literacy programs. The Magic Carpet Time Tour, a traveling program promoting the joy of reading, has reached over 225,000 students across North America. And CCA was the first company to take a corporate initiative on USA Weekend Magazine's National Make a Difference Day by completing library and media center makeovers worth over $250,000 at local elementary schools. In August 2007, the CCA Global community suffered a great loss when Alan passed away after a courageous battle with cancer. The charity golf tournament he initiated in 2003 has since been renamed the Alan Greenberg Golf Tournament, and to date has raised over $700,000 for the Floor Covering Industry Foundation, which helps those within their industry during times of need. Part of what led to CCA's success was undoubtedly the connection between its 2 co-founders. Howard and Alan were not only business partners, but also incredibly close friends. In all of the years working together, they actually never missed a day talking with each other. They were passionate about what they were doing, and they were passionate about their friendship. This commitment is reflected every day by what CCA Global does for independent business owners and their customers. Howard Brodsky and Alan Greenberg are cooperative pioneers. Their shared dream to empower and enrich the lives of entrepreneurs is what led them to build one of the largest cooperatives in the United States, CCA Global Partners. This visionary business model allows independent business owners to thrive using cooperative strategies. For this, we recognize Howard Brodsky and Alan Greenberg with induction into the Cooperative Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Paul. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I think we got 2 things here. I got a mic here and this. We don't need 2. So first of all, I want to thank Paul so much for having me here. I think the work that ROC has done is just incredible. It is just a testament. There is something in the water and the blood in New Hampshire that is making co-ops successful around the world. So I just congratulate the work that of bringing ownership to communities around the country and everything that you're doing. It's just a great pride. And Paul was inducted to the Cooperative Hall of Fame, was it 2 years ago now? Last year, a year ago, a year and a half, yeah, a year ago. And I was so proud to see Paul there for all the work he's done. And he really has been groundbreaking in setting it for residential home communities and what ROC does. So congratulations to all of you for being here. You know, it was interesting when I was saying to Julie earlier, Julie said, when she met me, she said, I never thought I'd find anybody more passionate about co-ops than her. And she said, I found you. And I think I am very passionate about co-ops because I see what co-ops do to people. I see that co-ops put people first. But co-ops don't put profit first. Co-ops put people first. And our company it's said in the video, we founded in 1985. We realized after about 8 years that our core competency was not floor covering. Our core competency was bringing scale to family businesses across the world. And it didn't matter whether it was a bike store, a floor covering store, a lighting store. And then about 11 years ago, the Aspen Institute came to us and said, would your model work in the nonprofit sector? And we said, well, I was involved in nonprofits, but we never thought. And over a period of 6 months, they brought every nonprofit sector, from healthcare centers to arts organizations to childcare centers. And they said, what you do, nonprofits are like cottage businesses. The executive director is who runs them and has the passion for it. You can't group them all together and have one company buy them or merge, but they need scale. And so we went into the childcare world almost 11 years ago now, because it was such a needed field. And today we service over 21,000 childcare centers and 650,000 children in 32 states. And it's amazing. And we hear back from the childcare centers, you saved us $40,000 in insurance. We can hire 2 new people to take care of kids. You saved us $30,000 in food. All that makes a difference in taking care of a child. And these childcare centers are not the ones that the top 1% are saying the kids to. This is the rest of America that needs very good care. It was interesting. I was watching TV a couple of weeks ago, and they had that unemployment was at a 50-year low. And that was incredible. At the same time, the very next day, there was an article that the distribution of wealth on the top 1%, so the amount of wealth the top 1% owns, was at a 50-year high. And so what it said is, yes, we have a low unemployment. We have almost full unemployment. But full unemployment is not full opportunity. We have an incredible amount of people that are living in wages they cannot raise a family. There are 13 million single mothers raising 22 million children. A lot of them on minimum wage. You try to raise a family on $8 an hour. And a lot of them are on subsidy. But I would tell you, I don't think people want to be on subsidy. They need to be on subsidy. People want opportunity. They don't want subsidy. They need it. So I'm not saying people shouldn't be given it when they need it, but that does not give people opportunity. We're very proud that Innovia is part of the CCA family. And we have a division, Innovia, and ROC is part of Innovia that's home. And I think our people were here today, but it's community management organizations and homeowners association. We started it now, I think, going on 4 years ago. And we now have over 1 million residences in the country that are part of our cooperative and growing very, very quickly. And we're so proud that ROC at USA is part of it. And I think it's just going to grow more, and we're going to be able to do more and more for all our members. An interesting statistic that 6 people in the world have more wealth than half the world's population. That's an incredible thing, that 6 people could get in a car right now outside of this building, and they'd have more wealth than continents put together of every single person on continents. That's an astonishing number, and it's gotten worse. So the concentration actually, 3 years ago, it was 24 people. Now it's 6 people. In the United States, it's not a lot better. So in the United States, it's 2.5 people. So if you take half of Warren Buffett, you take all of Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and half of Warren Buffett, they have the same amount of money as half the wealth in the United States. And the concentration is getting worse and worse. Matter of fact, the average black population in America has a net worth of $3,500. That's everything they own. That's not a house, that's the house, the car, clothes, that's the total worth. And 37% of our population have a negative net worth. That's astonishing. 37%, that's almost 120 million people owe money, don't have a penny to their name. So, our situation is not getting better, it is getting worse. But we are all part of something bigger, and it's cooperatives. And what I would tell you in cooperatives is, the left-hand side is a typical conventional corporation. And what is it? I think in regular, people don't have a lot of hope, a lot of employees today, of where they are in society. It's wealth extraction. What's wealth extraction? Wealth extraction is when somebody's taking more out of the system than they're putting in. It happens all over. So you give you security industry. When you see guards sitting outside a bank, or they're sitting in convention halls, you go in, the guards. I asked somebody one day, I said, I was just talking to a friend, I said, what do you make? And he said, I make minimum wage. And I asked our people, because we have at convention, I said, what do we pay the security company for the guards at the door? They said, we pay $35 an hour. And I researched a little bit. There are 2.5 million people in the security industry making minimum wage and getting paid anywhere from $30 to $50 an hour. The company gets paid. That's what I call wealth extraction. All the money's being taken at the top, and the people doing the work are not getting the money. And so it's top down, it's wealth extraction, it's inequality. That's the nature of a lot of what's going on in our country. And a cooperative, which is on the right side, I believe a cooperative offers hope. So there's two types of poverty. There's economic poverty and there's poverty of hope. So when you give people subsidies, they don't have hope. They have subsidy. And cooperatives empower people. And cooperatives share wealth. And as you know, cooperatives have democratic control. And if we look at our next, what's different? So if you look at it, what drives a corporation? Quarterly returns. If all you do is look in the paper every day, the quarterly returns from this stock is down, this stock is up. But in a cooperative, what drives is long-term results. Cooperatives don't care about quarterly returns. There's no cooperatives in the stock market. Our company's a large company. It's a $12 billion company now. But there's no stock market. Land O'Lakes is a $45 billion cooperative. They don't look at the quarterly returns. They have farmers that own Land O'Lakes. They look at what they do for the farmers. That's what counts. Cooperatives care about distributed profit among all members. Corporations got profit to shareholders. And if you look, stock value is what corporations care about, but cooperatives care about collective social good. Cooperatives care about people first. And cooperatives really excel at creating and sustaining jobs. They excel at strengthening local community. It's all about community. It's about your communities where you're sitting in, and your homes are sitting there. It's about where our members are sitting there and own retail stores. It's not about some corporate headquarters anywhere. It's about community. Because isn't that what America's about? Isn't that what all places about, all around the world? Joan and I hosted some people, matter of fact, from the World Affairs Council recently, from Central America and South America. It was all about community they talked about. It was nothing about this, something that cares about what's going on in national. Everybody cares about what's going on in the local community. And that's what cooperatives are incredible about empowering people. And one thing I would think is, Joan and I have traveled around the world with cooperatives, fortunately. Cooperatives are just really nice people. Like here, it's amazing. Cooperatives, I believe, have the nicest people in the world belong to cooperatives. It's so different. You go and sit in a corporate boardroom, it's not the same. They're talking about profit, not people. Cooperatives talk about people. I always think cooperatives are some of the smartest people in the world and some of the nicest people in the world. And it doesn't matter whether they're from India, from Israel, they're from Pakistan, they all have the same philosophy of people that are part of cooperatives. But we wanted to understand what people knew about cooperatives. So we took a survey, and it was interesting in the survey. So it doesn't surprise us. I know a lot of times when people ask what I do, I tell them I'm part of a cooperative, and they look at me with stare blank, and people think of a food cooperative. I mean, they really don't understand what cooperatives are. And our survey, 74% of people had no idea what a cooperative was. 15% had a little idea, and 11% knew, and it was usually within a cooperative what they were part of. So they were part of a food co-op, or they were part of a credit union that's part of the cooperative world. But most people, matter of fact, a group of people in the survey said they thought it was a secret society. I thought that was fascinating. I came home and I said, Joan, we're part of a secret society. I had never been part of that, you know. But awareness does make a difference. And when we told people what a cooperative was, 75% of people said it would change their behavior of where they shopped or where they did business. That's the survey company said they have never seen a result like that, where 3 out of every 4 people said it would change their behavior of what they would do and where they would do it. So it's really quite incredible. But what about if we all came together? But cooperatives come, I think a lot of us don't understand the impact and where they are. So there are credit unions. You know, in the United States, 110 million people are members of credit unions. 1 out of every 3 people. How many people here are member of credit unions? I applaud you. I applaud you. Utility co-ops. 42 million Americans get their utilities from a cooperative. Farmer co-ops. Almost all the farms in America, the small ones, are part of farm co-ops. Everything from Ocean Spray to Land O'Lakes to Organic Valley, Purina dog food, are all co-ops, you know? So they're powerful. Ace Hardware stores. There are so many co-ops that touch so many people's lives that we are not aware of. And it's so good. And one other thing that people don't realize, so a home care cooperative for child care centers costs 85% less than a regular child care center. A student housing co-op at colleges costs 50% less than a normal housing. And co-ops give back twice as much to the community that national businesses do on a per population basis. Co-ops do wonderful things. But we look at our collective voice. So co-ops touch so many places in so many ways. And we have in the United States over 130 million members and 2.5 million employees of co-ops. It's strong. And internationally, we have over 1 billion people are members of co-ops. Joan and I have been privileged to be in Turkey and Panama and to see the work that co-ops are doing around the world. And co-ops touch so many people's lives. We were sitting next to a gentleman from India, and I asked him how big, what his co-op was, a farmer's co-op, and how many members he had. And he turned to me and said, 45 million. I thought he has 45 million farmers that are members of his co-op. It was like, oh my gosh. That's when I knew I had a little co-op. I didn't have a... But it really is incredible. And there's 140 million people that are employed by co-ops around the world. So it's really quite incredible. About 3.5 years ago, we started Cooperatives for a Better World, right here in Manchester. It's a nonprofit in order to spread the word about co-ops, how co-ops can connect better with each other, how more people can understand about co-ops, how the employees can understand about co-ops. And in a matter of 3.5 years now, we're operating in 15 countries, including India and China and Argentina and Australia and Canada and obviously the United States. Cooperatives are power. And in phase 1, we want to engage employees. In phase 2, we want to engage members. And in phase 3, we want to go to the public. We've started to build co-op communities. So what is a co-op community? This is in Colorado. We ran our first co-op community in Colorado. We tied all the co-ops in Colorado together, from the purchasing co-ops to the credit unions to the utility co-ops, in order to work with each other, in order to do business with each other, in order to share and learn from each other and educate with each other. We identified over 1,400 different cooperatives in Colorado. And we built a co-op locator, which now is going to be national, where we're identifying every co-op, every location, who runs it, their website. So if you live in an area and you want to do business with a co-op, you can go on to, like, this was colorado.coop. We're going to have New Hampshire.coop, every one in every state. And you can find every co-op in every location anywhere. And I will tell you that co-ops, I think, are a way to have distributed, shared equity and wealth. It's a way to get, you can have scale without giving up being people. You can have all the level the playing fields you need and still have individual people in the community making decisions. When decisions are made by corporations where the shareholders have no attachment to the people using the product or the people they are, it's what's happening in our country. That's how you get unequal distribution. I want to show you one more video. This was at the International Convention 2 years ago.
We believe in we, not I.
We see opportunity in each other and everywhere.
私たちは組合員です。
Somos propietarios. Somos los dueños.
We are family.
Une famille.
We are family.
Nous apprenons de notre passé.
一如既往地向前。
We love what we do.
Nós somos feitos para vocês e por vocês.
אנחנו אדונים לגורלנו.
We give back.
Nous n'avons jamais cessé de rêver.
Somos los líderes. Somos los líderes del cambio de nuestras vidas.
Nous enrichissons la vie des personnes et des communautés.
हम लोग हैं जो दूसरे लोगों की मदद करने का यहाँ पे काम करते हैं.
We believe that everyone has a unique voice, and also in the power of numbers.
Nous n'avons pas de limite.
We go forward together towards success.
We foster creativity and innovation.
Nous osons être différents.
We honor the individual. We celebrate the collective.
Meitä on paljon.
We are one force, one vision.
We are building a better world.
Si lo hacemos juntos.
יחד.
ご一緒に活動しましょう。
Yhdessä.
Ensemble.
Together.
Nous voulons bâtir un monde meilleur maintenant.
We are cooperatives.
Somos cooperativos.
Nous sommes coopératifs.
that was shown at the International Cooperative Convention where 110 countries were represented from around the world. And those are the cooperative leaders from around the world. And as I said, it doesn't matter what country you're from, the values are shared. Co-ops are about shared wealth, they're about inclusion, they're about opportunity, and they're about ownership, which you all know. And I can tell you, I'm proud to be a member of a co-op, and you should be too. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Howard. Terrific. I hope what you see in Howard's story and the story of CCA Global is the power of working together. Obviously, this is built on the strength of individual communities doing a great job of owning your own communities, but there's tremendous strength and opportunity in working together at a state, regional, and national level, because we can accomplish, so much more together. And if you didn't see that in Howard's story, please stay afterwards, and Howard will run a complete course on the program, all right? Thank you very much, Howard. We love it, and really appreciate you coming out. And dinner is served, so help yourselves.